Hi, welcome back to Doug's Basement Workshop. Today we're doing some upgrades to the Glowforge. Now there's not a lot of upgrading we can do to our Glowforge, but one thing I can do is try to make it a little bit quieter here in the house. Everyone here in the house wears ISO tunes when the Glowforge is running. If you own a Glowforge, you understand why. If you don't own a Glowforge, it is ridiculously loud inside the house. Imagine having, I don't know, 2 shop vacs running in your house at the same time. That's equivalent to about what the sound of the Glowforge running is. So I went ahead and I purchased the 6-inch fan. This one. I will put links down below because I'm not even going to pretend to try and say the name of this thing correctly and do all that stuff. I looked at the reviews written by other people, and this is the one, sorry, it's turned on. This is the one that other people have recommended and said that it was the best. Now, they do say that you can go with the 4-inch, and it does a pretty good job, but I run my Glowforge quite a bit. And in the summer, I run it for much more than I probably should. So I want to have that extra cooling as well as clearing the smoke. I do a lot of wood, I do a lot of slab art. I don't do a lot of leather with mine. I do mostly the wood. I do a fair bit of MDF, although my pile of MDF is almost gone, and I don't think I'm going to get any more MDF. MDF does a pretty good job of gunking up your laser, and I'm not a big fan of the damage that MDF does to the inside of my Glowforge. I'd much rather run plywood through it than MDF, and the price difference, I'm willing to pay a little bit more for my material than damage my laser and have to replace it. The other issue is I find that acrylic makes a horrible smell in the laser. And because our laser is indoor, it's in our common living area, the smell is offensive. I get migraines easily, and the smell of the acrylic can trigger migraines for me. Other people in the house think it's horrible, and I'm hoping that having this fan that I can leave run a little bit longer and leave the acrylic in there a little bit longer can help get the off-gassing out more and get some of the more of the smell of the acrylic out of the house better. That is my goal, and reducing the sound. So that is the overall goals that we have going on today. So while I'm doing this, some of the things that I want to do, that is the sound of the fan running right now. So that's not too bad. I would rank that below vacuum cleaner sound. So what we're going to do, my Glowforge has had the same vent on it since I bought it, and I think we're coming up on 2 years right now. I bought my Glowforge came in a week or 2 before the world went into the zombie apocalypse lockdowns, and it's had the same piece of vent hosing on it since then, and it is pretty atrocious inside, so we're going to replace it. And all they had at the store was plastic hosing, so we're going to put plastic on. Right now I have metal on there, and I probably will go back to metal eventually, because I think metal's a little more fireproof than the plastic is. But we're going to go with what we've got right now. If you don't have a Glowforge and you've never looked in, so you've never been able to see inside of the tubing, you might not be aware of this, but there's a lot of gunk that builds up inside of your tubing, and there's no way to really clean the venting out. For the price of the venting, you might want to just replace it periodically as a fire prevention thing. Depending on where you live in the country, you may not take your vent off of your Glowforge or disconnect your vent from the outside of your house very often. I live in Western New York. Even if I had a blast gate on my on my machine, I would still disconnect it. With the temperatures outside getting down to, you know, this week I think we were down to 0. We were down to the low teens on a regular basis. The distance between my Glowforge and the outside is maybe 2 feet of hosing. Even though the hose is stretched out, it's probably a total distance of 4 or 5 feet of hosing, but like literally I have the camera angled this way because the window is right there, the Glowforge is right there. So the Glowforge sits next to a window so that the venting is easy. So if you're, obviously your Glowforge is water cooled, you don't want to have that cold air coming in through your vent and freezing the water in your Glowforge. So as I'm setting this up today, I'm going to be making it so that I can take the tubing off and slide it off the back. Now, when I bought my Glowforge, this is a replacement Glowforge. And my first Glowforge I purchased off of Amazon, this little piece. And there'll be a link down in my bio for this. This slides onto the back of the Glowforge to make it easier to get your vent hose on, because that little nipple on the back of the Glowforge is so darn tiny. This is a much easier piece to put your hose onto and secure it. So we're going to be replacing that today, or putting that on the Glowforge. And this piece is a piece that I slide on and off my Glowforge, because getting the vent hose clicked on with the little clamp is a pain in the neck. I can just slide this collet on and off, and it keeps it nice and tight. We don't have the bad Glowforge or smoky smell here in the house. And I am not evil enough to shake this out in here and make a huge mess, but I'll try and get some pictures inside of this hose. Maybe I'll shake it outside on the concrete and take some pictures of the junk that falls out of this hose when I do it, but that's how long my hose has been. So I will throw a link down here. This is not these collet pieces are not from Amazon. I saw another YouTuber who had these, and these are leak proof, supposedly. Obviously, I'm setting this up right now. These are supposed to be leak proof. They are tighter fitting on the fan pieces to keep it from leaking as you're working on it, or as it's running. If you've never cut vent hose before, which I can kind of see where a lot of people have never cut vent hose, I'm going to take my measurement, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to cut my vent hose. I'm going to show you how to do it, because there is a bit of a trick to cutting vent hose without making a huge, horrible mess out of your vent hose. So I'm going to take one of my nipples, and I'm going to go down there and work for a minute. Okay, so as usual, things haven't quite gone the way I had planned. It's been quite a while since we talked 2 seconds ago, and my white hose isn't quite long enough to do what I need to do. So we're going to use some of the silver hose and get some more of that later. So on the edge of this flange, I know I'm wearing a great colored shirt for doing this with a piece of black tubing, is a little lip. So we're going to take our silver hose, we put it over the lip, and we're going to use our little spring clamps and clamp it onto the back side of that lip. And that's going to help hold it on there, because this is the outside. Now, on the top of the fan, there are arrows pointing the direction of the flow of air. Please be smart while you're setting this up and make sure that the outside is blowing towards the window and away from the machine. Otherwise, you will be a very sad Glowforge user and filling your house with smoke and causing all kinds of massive issues for yourself. So I'm going to go down there, stick this on there and get a measurement. And again, we'll show you how to cut vent hosing. So to cut vent hosing, I recommend a pocket knife and a pair of dikes. Now anything to cut metal, to cut wire with will work for this. I put a piece of painter's tape on my hose when I'm going to do this. Now, you may not realize this, but these rings are not concentric rings. This is a spiral that goes all the way through your tube. So you're going to cut into your hose, you're going to cut around, but if you're not careful, you quickly become a huge slinky of hose. And this will frustrate you to no end. And you just want to cut until your pieces are side by side. And you want to try and cut your material away so you're as close to the wire as you can be. Because dikes do not cut through anything but wire. They are not good at cutting plastic or other material very well. And that's it. You now have two pieces of hose. And if you want, I recommend cleaning all this stuff up off of here because it'll make it much easier to slide your hose onto your vent. It's one less thing to get wrapped underneath while you're trying to fit it on there, because it's a pretty snug fit when you go to apply it. And yes, I'm just trimming this with my pocket knife. If you're using metal venting, you will ruin the scissors you use to do this if you do it with scissors. And that's all I need. This process is turning off the internal Glowforge fan. I know my unit's turned off right now, but right here it is. Glowforge air filter attached. So we're going to click that button, and it tells the Glowforge a lie, and it says that we have the air filter attached to it, and it turns off the internal fan. And now we're ready to go ahead and run our project. Alright, so it worked really well. So I showed you guys a quick video of the laser cutting. The flash burning that we saw was not anything to do with the fan running. It was completely to do with the crumb tray being completely filthy, nasty, disgusting. I did peel some of the acrylic that was in there and it came out beautifully clean. I did wash my crumb tray, and the video that stuff is going to be in will be coming out soon. That is going to be the napkin ring video that I'm going to be doing. So that is another video. So that'll be coming. But yes, it works. And I can tell you now that we left the acrylic in there for about 10 minutes with a fan on setting 4. And the smell was non-existent. I couldn't even smell the acrylic when we took it out. Leaving the fan running after cutting acrylic worked perfectly, and it was awesome. So yay, this worked, and this is going to be great. I would say this is, we brought the decibel meter over before we did it, and it was at 74, and when we ran it this time we were at 54. So I could not be, 64, from 76 to 64. So I could not be happier. This sounds like a heat gun running in the back of the room compared to 2 shop vacs running in the house. So yay, this works. Everything is beautiful, and it was a really worthwhile investment, I think, especially for living here in the winter and not being able to do several different types of materials because of the smell. This will definitely help with all of that stuff. So worthwhile investment, guys. Go try this out. Links for everything that I purchased are down below in the description. And good luck. I'll see you on the next video. And with this, you won't be making any smoke, but you can go make some fun projects. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you the next time.